you might still be scanning the horizon for a dramatic sign. A banner, a trumpet, anything that proves the long, dark stretch is finally over. What if the exit didn't arrive as a blaze, but as something quieter? Something so subtle you almost walked past it. There are markers that tell you the passage is complete, but they're small and internal. They shift how the ground feels beneath your feet, rather than scream from the rooftops. Think of the dark period not as an endless sentence, but as a corridor you move through. At some point, the corridor ends. When it does, the evidence isn't loud. It's a change in relation to pain, to solitude, to the stories you tell yourself. One of the first signs you've moved through is how you now regard hurt. Scars remain. Memories still sting. But pain no longer defines the center of your life. It passes through you like weather over a vast sky. You are the sky now, wide and steady, instead of the storm itself. Another unmistakable shift is the way solitude lands. Where loneliness once felt like abandonment, a yawning cliff beneath your feet, it now often feels like a comfortable room you can inhabit. Time alone isn't punishment but presence. It's not that you've become closed off. It's that you're alone. Ness has become a chosen space. A place where you can be whole without frantic calls for rescue. You may notice the craving for external validation losing its gravity. There was a season when you needed others to witness your pain for it to be real. To have someone nod and say, "Yes, I see you." That hunger softens. Your inner work no longer depends on an audience. The transformation has been private, intense, and deep enough that it needs no applause. Where you once rehearsed an explanation, you now carry a quiet knowing that doesn't require translation. Look for the collapse of the old performance. The masks and personas you wore to survive begin to feel out of step. Roles that once fit you like a costume. The obliging child, the reliable colleague, the fixer, start to itch and fall away. You find yourself less willing to contort into versions that aren't yours. That old, exhausting civil war between who you are and who you thought you should be eases. The fight doesn't flare into a victory parade. It dissolves into a hesitant truce. One that arises not from surrender, but from seeing the futility of the fight. Another sign is a change in how you handle emptiness. Previously, a blank space in your life meant panic. Now it more often reads as possibility. The void is no longer a wound to be hidden, but an uncultivated field. Instead of rushing to fill it with distractions, you hold it gently and imagine planting seeds. That fertile silence becomes generative, a precursor to new forms rather than proof of lack. You may discover that the compulsion to interpret everything as a lesson has weakened. Once every setback had to be mined for meaning, each loss turned into a step on a moral map. Over time, you learn to let some events be simply events. This is not cynicism. It is relief. The relief of not being forced to squeeze every moment into a parable. Some things are just what they are, and that truth releases energy for what is immediate and real. The body tells its own story. Subtle physical changes often mirror the psychological turning point. Breath may deepen on its own. Muscles that were habitually clenched may unclench. Nights of tight, Jawed tension can give way to a slower exhale. Those somatic echoes are not magic. They are the body finally recalibrating to an inner peace it had been denied. When your posture relaxes and your sleep softens, notice the psyche often writes its healing into the tissue. Emotionally, you'll find a new relationship with feeling. Emotions still come. They can be sharp, startling, overwhelming even, but you no longer confuse intensity with annihilation. You can be moved without collapsing. You feel, you allow it to pass, and you remain. That ability to inhabit sensitivity without fragility is a hallmark of the passage being complete. You cry, you grieve, you recover. The arc has widened. Intuition returns its voice. Where once your inner guidance was muffled by chaos and fear, it now whispers, and you can hear it. It doesn't deliver fireworks or definitive answers. It offers gentle suggestions that help on ordinary days. The small compass in your chest begins to point more clearly, and you find the courage to follow simple nudges instead of waiting for epiphanies. Notice also the dwindling of the savior script, the urge to rescue others, or to be rescued, loses its compulsive edge. Relationships change from transactions of mutual repair to invitations of companionship. You stop carrying everyone's emptiness as proof of your worth. Instead, you allow others to carry their own nights. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop mistaking someone else's darkness for your job to fix. You will likely find that forgiveness becomes an internal event. It's no longer a performance staged to repair reputation or relationships. Forgiveness quietly removes the charge from a memory until it no longer commands your choices. You don't need reconciliation for that liberation. You simply release the grip resentment had on your present. A new kind of spiritual life often replaces dramatic quests for transcendence. Peak experiences are no longer the only path to the sacred. The miraculous hides in routine, in the warmth of morning light, in a steady breath, in washing the dishes. The sacred is ordinary now, present in staying, in being, in the small rituals of a day lived without trance. Your faith becomes intimate and free of spectacle. You also become less anxious about the future. Tomorrow stops being either a glittering promise or a looming threat. The future becomes an extension of this grounded present planned when useful, but not the currency of your worth. Your identity is rooted in your being, not in some projected later success. One final hallmark: you carry an inner certitude that asks for no confirmation. There is a quiet, deep recognition that you have passed through something and emerged. You do not need to prove it to anyone. The confirmation is private and unshakable. It shows in steadier breathing, in fewer defensive reactions, in a gaze that no longer flees. This quiet knowing is the clearest proof that the long night has ended for you. If any of these gestures resonate, if you feel a soft shift in how you meet pain, solitude, the body, and your inner voice, then consider this a gentle confirmation. You have not vanished into completion. You have returned to a fuller, truer self. The passage hasn't erased your story, it has reoriented you toward yourself. If these reflections land for you, share which sign felt most true in the comments. If you want more conversations about inner change, individuation, and quiet transformations, subscribe and join the conversation. The path continues, and here we walk it together. Not as seekers chasing mountaintops, but as people learning to live, moment by moment, in the space that remains when the night lets us go.